Back in 2010, we made a wish come true. Disney magic waiting, a dream shining through. Give kids a world, open their hearts and their doors. A home away from home, joy forevermore.
Andrew was just a boy with a heart full of dreams, not expected past 12, or so it seemed. But hope carried us onward, love by our side, and that wish came alive with every stride.
The village was bright, filled with laughter and cheer,
A place where no sickness could shadow years.
Villa-style homes, rides, and lights that gleam. It was more than a wish, it was living the dream. Andrew's wish, shining brighter than the sun. Memories made that will never be undone. Give kids a world, a miracle they provide. A home full of love where our hearts could reside.
From the park of dreams pool to themed dining delights, every day was magic, every moment felt right.
Families from everywhere, laughter in the air. A village of angels, showing how much they care. Founded by Henry, a survivor so strong.
He turned tragedy into hope where the hurting belong.
A Holocaust survivor who dreamed of a place
where children like Andrew
could find love and grace. Andrew's wish, shining brighter than the sun. Memories made that will never be undone. Give kids a world, a miracle they provide. A home full of love where our hearts could reside. Now Andrew's 27, I'm turning 51. Time flies like magic when a dream has begun.
That wish still lives, etched in our hearts and our song. A gift that reminds us where we've always belonged.
Every smile, every hug, every laugh we recall.
Give kids the world gave us the greatest gift of all.
A life to celebrate, a love that will always stay. A home in our hearts that guides us every day. Andrew's wish, shining brighter than the sun. Memories made that will never be undone. Give kids the world, a miracle they provide. A home full of love where our hearts could reside. Andrew's wish, still lighting up the sky. A dream granted once, and it will never die.
Thank you, give kids the world,
For showing the way, for giving hope, love, and memories that stay. So here's to dreams, to courage, to every little spark.
to Andrew magic, to light in the dark.
Give kids the world, your love changed our lives.
A village of miracles
Where true joy survives.
Thank you, for another day. Even when it's hard, I'll choose your way. Alarm clock whispers, morning light breaks, another breath that mercy makes. Cold floor touches tired skin, a quiet prayer begins within. No spotlight, no grand display, just a heart that says thank you today for every breath, for every chance, for grace I didn't earn in advance. Before the noise, before the race, I steady my soul in His embrace. Feet on the ground, eyes to the sky. Thank you, Lord, for another sunrise. Through every storm, through every sound, keep my heart soft while the world gets loud. When kindness feels hard, when patience runs thin, remind me who I am within. I won't add fire to what's already burned. I'll walk in the love you showed and earned. Faces pass, some cold, some kind, some carry storms you'll never find. Sharp words cut like they don't care, but pain like that comes from somewhere. I could react, I could ignite, turn one spark into a fight, but I don't know what they've been through, so I choose grace like you would do. And if they push and if they stay, I'll turn my heart and walk away. Feet on the ground, eyes to the sky. Thank you, Lord, for another sunrise. Through every test, through every fall, teach me love in spite of it all. When anger knocks, I won't let it in. I'll fight that war from deep within. Not every battle's mine to claim. Some walk in hurt, some live in pain. Some live in pain. Not everyone knows how to be light. Some are just trying to survive their night. And even if they don't understand, I'll still lift them up with folded hands. Prayers in the dark, whispers above. Even the broken are worthy of love. This world is heavy, cold and loud, but I won't get lost. I won't bow down, I won't become what tried to break me. I won't let bitterness remake me. Feet on the ground, soul standing tall. Thank you, Jesus. You carried it all. Through every shadow, through every flame, you held my heart. You called my name, so I'll be kind when it's not returned. I'll let go of what I've learned to burn. This world's too dark to add more pain, so I'll choose love again, again. Night falls quiet, I bow my head. Pray for the ones who heard instead. And if I wake to another dawn, I'll thank you first before moving on.
halls were long and dark. 4 stories high with silent screaming, painting names, borrowed pride, trying to make the madness seem redeeming. 4 floors of concrete prayers, where pain learned how to breathe. Each group named for a sports team, like mascots could make you mean to bleed. They dressed the cruelty in order, call control discipline. But behind those locked reminders was a war they let begin.
Keys rattle like a warning bell. Hunger taught us how to wait.
Locked doors preaching obedience while stealing childhood from our fate.
Defenseless, broken, scared, and bruised.
We learned silence was the rule, forced to grow up overnight in a place that broke the youth. You think you can put me through hell? I already lived inside this wall. Nothing you show me today comes close to the decade I survived it all. I walked the fire, I faced the dark, I answered every call. You can't scare a soul that already stood tall when the world let it fall. The damp shadows still know my name, familiar smells still stain my sleep. They haunt my dreams and others too, memories we never get to keep. Justice waits like a locked room, still unopened, still denied. The past won't rest, it won't lie down till truth and name step into light.
You think you can put me through hell?
I already paid that toll.
My soul.
They tried to break my body first, then bargain for my soul. But I'm still standing, still breathing, still answering the call. You don't threaten survivors who already outlived it all. They tried to claim my faith with fear, told a child to fight like a man. Every prayer was a battlefield, just to learn where I could stand.
Spirit bent but never broken.
Even when belief wore thin, I learned strength ain't loud or violent. Sometimes it's refusing to give in. Years went by behind those walls, but time didn't erase the truth. What was stolen can't be returned, but neither can I prove. We remember every hallway, every lock, every lie, and we carry those who didn't make it. When we raise our voices high, you think you can put me through hell? You don't know where I've been. I walked through fire as a child and came out standing as a man. No fear you sell, no threat you bring,
No shadow,
no shadow left to crawl.
I already faced the worst of it
and survived it all. Now I speak for the broken silence, for the names they tried to erase, for every soul still carrying that unmarked, unhealed place.
We are more than what they did to us.
More than scars they tried to hide.
We are living,
breathing proof the truth survives. The halls don't own us anymore. The locks are dust, the keys are gone. We are survivors, we stand true, and we carry the light forward. For everyone who couldn't move on. They think a strike is thunder falling down from up above. But truth don't tremble and justice don't run. When you stand in faith and love, YouTube winds may howl tonight, but light still breaks the darkest fight. You hit up low with a prayer in your chest, just speaking truth and doing your best. But shadows watch, fingers itching to bite, ready to file a claim late in the night. They want your voice silent, hope your courage shake. But warriors of truth don't bend, they break. Strikes and counter strikes, storms on the screen, algorithms rumbling like thunder between. But truth don't vanish and light don't die. God lifts the channel, no strike can deny. They twist your words, say you broke a rule, play victim loud while they act the fool. They bait, they lie, they plot and scheme, turning petty grudges into full-blown memes. But heaven sees what their ego hides, and justice walks with angel strides. Strikes and counter strikes, storms on the screen, algorithms rumbling like thunder between. Well, but truth don't vanish and light don't die. God lifts the channel, no strike can deny. One click, one claim, they celebrate the hit, thinking this time your fire will quit. But they forget the faithful don't fold. Pressure just turns iron into gold. Every false report becomes a stepping stone, a battlefield blessing you've already owned. You send the counter, calm but strong, with timestamps proving they're dead wrong. YouTube reviews, the clock ticks slow, but confidence rises, let the verdict flow. For liars fall by their own design, truth stands tall, forever divine. Strikes and counter strikes, storms on the screen, algorithms rumbling like thunder between. But truth don't vanish and light don't die. God lifts the channel, no strike can deny. Now watch them panic when justice lands, their false crusade slipping from their hands. They wanted you muted, broken, small, but grace steps in and cancels it all. A righteous voice don't fade away, it grows wings, no strike can sway. So keep uploading, keep shining bright, for every storm gives way to light. They'll try again, but you won't fall, 'cause heaven's the editor over it all. From shadows deep to sunrise gold, your true story will be told. Strikes and counter strikes, storms on the screen, rhythms rumbling like thunder between. But truth don't vanish and light don't die. God lifts the channel, no strike can deny. When they strike you down, you rise again. For battles end, but faith don't bend. Through noise, through lies, through digital files, your voice survives. Beyond all strife, yeah. Sometimes a child isn't born into love. Sometimes love finds them instead. Sometimes two arms become a shelter when fear is filled a little heart with dread. You don't have to share their blood to call them family, make them whole. Sometimes God places a child in your arms and asks you to love their soul. There was a child behind a broken door who didn't know what hope was for. A little heart carrying too much pain, wondering if life would ever change. Then two loving hearts reached through the fear, whispering, "You're safe, we're here." They opened their home, they opened their hearts, and gave that child a brand new start. They didn't ask what came before, they simply opened wide the door. A warm bed, a meal, a hand to hold, a love more precious than silver or gold. Sometimes family isn't where you're born. Sometimes love is what carries you home. You don't have to birth a child to love them as your own. You don't need the same blood to make a heart your home. Love is a promise, love is a choice. It's standing beside them when they have no voice. It's shelter from the storm, warm through the night, saying, "I'll protect you, I'll help make things right." And when this earthly life is finally done, love keeps carrying us on. They watch that little smile return, watched old wounds slowly learn that hands could hold without causing pain, that tears could fall and hope remain. A bedtime kiss, a blanket pulled tight, a whispered prayer before good night. Every little step, every victory won, showed them what love could overcome. They taught that family means staying near, being the strength when someone fears. No perfect words, no perfect plan, just giving that child the best they can. Then came a morning nobody could prepare, a moment that changed the empty air. The one they loved was leaving this place, and tears fell freely from every face. They held that hand and whispered low, "I love you more than you'll ever know." A lifetime of memories filled their eyes as they faced the hardest goodbye. How do you breathe when your heart breaks apart? How do you live with an empty part? You learn that death can take someone away, but it cannot take the love you made. Earth may whisper, "This is the end," but heaven whispers, "You'll meet again." When the wind moves softly through the trees, sometimes I swear I feel their peace. When rain falls gently on the ground, I hear their laughter in the sound. When sunlight breaks across the sky, I feel their spirit rising high. And when the moon shines through the night, it feels like heaven left alive. They're in the stories that we tell, in every memory we know so well. They're in our hearts, they're in our dreams, closer than they sometimes seem. Their body may be gone from sight, but love still burns like morning light. Until the day we meet once more, I'll carry them forevermore. You don't have as your own. You don't need the same blood to make a family home. Love is unwavering, love is kind. Love stays when the world leaves you behind. Heaven may take the hand we hold, but love remains when nights grow cold. Through the wind, the rain, the sun and moon, they whisper, you'll see us soon. So if there's a child somewhere hurting, wondering if anybody cares, let them find a loving family, waiting with open hearts and prayers. Every child deserves a chance, a safe home and a helping hand. You don't need their blood in your veins to stand beside them through their pain. And if you lost someone you treasure, the empty chair still makes you cry. Remember, love did not disappear when they left this earthly side. Look toward the sunrise, feel the breeze, listen softly through the trees. They're not forgotten, they are gone. Their love is still carrying you on. When the road is called up yonder, we will be there. When heaven opens up its gates, we will be there.
Hello? No, Charlie, I have not oiled the chair. Squeak, squeak, squeak. As a famous YouTuber once said, donate to my chair fund. Chair fund money, honey. Hello. For those who may not know me, my name is Angelo John Stevens, and I've written several books, 2 of which are published. And one of them happens to be called Surviving St. Aloysius Home, an orphanage in Rhode Island. And I have opened the book that Cinnamon Girl has purchased and that I have neglected to send her. Now, I've signed it, which I did not do live because it's private.
You may be wondering.
Yeah, you might be wondering. All right. Chapter 1. Early childhood and the initial trauma. My wife is playing me in the background, and I can hear my voice. My earliest memories are fragmented. It's a blurry collage of faces and feelings, mostly unpleasant. Before St. Aloysius' home, my world was small but contained. My mother, though often struggling, loved me fiercely. We lived a hand-to-mouth existence, but there was a warmth, a sense of belonging, and even within the confines of poverty, I remember the smell of her lavender perfume, faint and comforting. I remember her singing lullabies, and I remember her voice soothing balm against the insecurities of a young child. I remember the rough but loving hands that held mine as we walked to the corner store for milk. These are fragments that I cling to, the precious shards of life before the shattering experience of an orphanage. Then came the separation. While the details are fuzzy, obscured by passage of time and the trauma that followed, I remember the anxiety and the fear, the retching goodbye. My mother's face etched with a sorrow I didn't understand then, but which haunts me still. I was around 6 years old, too young to really comprehend the complexities of the adult world, the systems that failed to protect me. I was simply just a small child, abruptly thrust into an unfamiliar and a frightening environment. Let me caveat that with a pause. People are often wondering why people do things that they do on social media. What makes somebody a component for this type of advocacy or what makes a person say this about women or men or people that abuse children and things like that. Understand that my take on things online come from a place of abuse, neglect, torment, and horror. So initially, when I came at people, and I'm trying to be different about it, is I came from a place of extreme um, pain. This is the most appropriate word, pain, because the same types of predators that were in these orphanages before the world of computers as we know it today are the same people that you see online, just different forms, different masks, different people, and different types of predatory behaviors. But the behavior itself is still a recognized pattern, especially to those that have survived abuse and neglect. There is a very core pattern that is duplicated across whatever platform you're on, across whatever person you're talking about. The behavior patterns and the narcissistic and manipulative behaviors, they're always the same. It's just evolved into social media. So it's very much the same. And I need people to recognize that, because that's something that survivors can't unsee. We can't untrain ourselves to not see those patterns in other people. What becomes the issue, as I've discovered on this journey of advocacy, is teaching other people to recognize those same patterns and to protect themselves. Now, I've come to a conclusion after several years of doing this, not just with Ernie Shell or Tammy or Katie, and by Katie I mean Miss fucking wonderful Katie, and people like those people. I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter what we say. There are going to be components of people that don't care what the person that's displaying these patterns are doing, so long as that person hates the person that they hate equally. It provides for them an avenue of attack, and they're willing to compromise morals and integrities to facilitate the hate that they feel for that person. Oh, thank you, Aunt Kathy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And they do that, and I know they do that because I myself have done that. I have been guilty of that on numerous occasions. I have paired up or accepted assistance from people that hated the people that I hated more. So one of the changes I've made is that I have to stop hating people. It's vile to just sit there and just hate for nothing. Not just for nothing, but it's just vile to hate, because there is no end to hate. Hate just begets hate. Hate just teaches people to hate. Hate makes more hate. And then the entire premise of your movement that you're trying to make, whether it's my movement, your movement, their movement, doesn't matter, it becomes fogged, hazed, and obsolete because it's been replaced by hate, and hate overpowers it all. So if you can let go of the hate, then you can get to the core root of what your movement is. So the predators, they want you to hate them. They want you to hate them, and they want you to make videos and respond to them. That's what they need. They need that hate to facilitate their hate and their goals and their agendas with their supporters, so that they have a back and forth. Because without it, as we have seen on this platform numerous times, without the hate and without the back and forth, the live streams get kind of boring, don't they? They're kind of boring and repetitive, right? Repetitiveness is another sign of predators. If they have to repeat themselves 3, 4, 5, or 6 times, it's an ingrained, trained trait of predators to subjugate the people that they're trying to convince of something. And that's the funny thing about lying and predators. lying and predators, they have to repeat themselves. Those that are telling the truth, just tell the truth. It's not that difficult. Indifference is a good one. St. Aloysius loomed large in my young mind. It was an imposing brick structure that seemed to breathe an air of cold. Institutionally sterile, the echoing hallways and the smell of disinfectant and stale food, the constant hum of unseen machinery, it all contributed to an atmosphere of dread. The initial days were a whirlwind of confusion. I missed my mother desperately, clinging to the faded photograph that I had. I did actually have a photograph for quite some time. When I left St. Aloysius, I ended up losing a lot of stuff. I carried its edges and it was softly worn from countless touches. The other children, many of whom were equally lost and bewildered, offered little comfort. The initial days were a blur of introductions, hurried instructions, and pervading senses of unease. The abuse started I guess I don't want to say subdually, but they started slowly and intentional. It wasn't sudden, violent, but it was a slow, insidious creep into my life. A violation disguised as kindness. A violation disguised as kindness. That's something else we see on this platform a lot, isn't it? The perpetrator, a man entrusted with my care, was masterful at manipulation. He was charming and attentive, repeating himself often with me and playing games, making me feel special and chosen. If this sounds like somebody that you know online, just put a 1 in the chat. They would isolate me from the other children, whispering promises of affection and gifts and personal special privileges. It was the kind of attention a lonely, neglected child craved. But it was grooming, pure and simple. A very calculated strategy to break down my defenses, to instill trust where there should have only been caution. So let me pause here for a moment. Again, people wonder why I say and do the things I do online and why I see people as very, very dangerous to vulnerable individuals, and more so if the vulnerable individual has children. It's a necessity of a predator to separate you. Now, think back to the times that we've faced predators online. We don't have to name the person, but let's think back. Did this person separate individuals from his chat into private chats in other places like Facebook or Twitter or private groups or private text messages? Did they have one group here giving them information about this and that, and then give different information to another group over here and this and that, and then sometimes pit those two groups against each other? Let me ponder that, because I believe that did happen on this platform. It's a manipulation tactic. It's to weed out the strong-willed, the people that will think for themselves, and find the weak ones that will subjugate themselves to yourself. And then you take the weaker ones and you keep them, because those are the ones you can control. I wonder if this sounds like anyone. Yes, A1, the one repeating the hate does get a lot out of it, a lot of control. Do you find that you've seen streamers bring up people specifically to have them fight over one another or over themselves, while they sit back and watch and listen and then chime in here and there, and then eventually it's a 3-on-1 or a 4-on-1 or a 5-on-1? Again, I've participated in the same thing, so I understand, and I speak from a place of knowing, because I participated in this. But are we still seeing the same person or persons consistently do these things? I think we have. No, Chicky, I'm not talking about you. The first instance is almost impossible to articulate. It was basically a hazy memory of a touch too close and too long. A feeling of confusion and a sense of something being wrong, but really having an inability to name it or to even understand it. The confusion was strategically cultivated. It wasn't a terrifying assault, but a carefully measured transgression, sort of like dipping a toe into a pool to see if it was too cold. He would test the waters, probing my boundaries, gauging my reactions. He learned how to manipulate my vulnerabilities and to exploit my dependence. So, in an orphanage, and especially in St. Aloysius, for those who don't know, it was a converted mansion of sorts, a former monastery for nuns. And in the in the 50s, 60s, the nuns were there. They were the teachers and the disciplinarians. In the 70s, they were starting to weed the nuns out and replace them with conventional civilian workers. But there were still nuns that would come periodically for the church functions and things like that. I don't know if you've ever been disciplined by a nun, but it is not a pleasant experience. I soon started receiving gifts soon after. My first experience of a gift was the golden books that used to come, wrapped in small little gifts with symbols and signs. I knew shortly after opening one of those gifts that I would be visiting with the Father. A candy bar or a brightly colored toy that quickly morphed into larger presents, a small toy car, and a more expensive one, and games and clothes. They were rewards for my silence, my compliance, and a perverse system of incentives that kind of warped my perspective of right and wrong. The abuser used these gifts to buy my silence, to solidify the twisted bond between us, ensuring that my growing unease wouldn't translate into disclosure. The present served as reminders of the bond he had built, a bond fueled by abuse and sustained by my fear. The insidious nature of the grooming is perhaps the most chilling aspect. It wasn't about brute force, and it really never is for predators. It was about manipulation, about making the abuse feel normal, feel acceptable, even desired. The subtle shift from inappropriate touching to outright sexual abuse was gradual, masked by a veneer of affection and special attention. Imagine being basically an orphan with no family and no identity. You were craving everything. He would use distracting conversations or activities to create a diversion while subtly manipulating situations to ensure that my growing feelings of discomfort were suppressed and replaced with a confused sense of affection, loyalty, and even complicity. So, one of the tactics of a predator, since we're going to be teaching you guys the actual thing about predators, which most of you probably know, is to make you feel like you did something wrong, that you're complicit in the behavior and just as guilty. Because a guilty person, complicit in their own abuse, is less likely to come forward and speak about it because they're trained and indoctrinated to believe that they're going to get in trouble too. Right? Again, something that we've seen online, I think. He knew exactly how to exploit the power and imbalance between an adult and a child. He knew that my vulnerability and my longing for affection would make me susceptible to his manipulations. He used his position of authority to isolate me and to create a sense of dependency. He'd often take me to secluded areas along the orphanage or into the woods, the empty laundry room, the rarely used storage closet, places where he knew he wouldn't be disturbed and that under the cover of darkness or the supposed privacy of these areas, the abuses continued. The progression was gradual but relentless. The initial confusion gave way to fear, and the fear to a sense of numbness. My understanding of appropriate behavior became distorted. My sense of self-worth eroded. The abuse became a reoccurring event, a dark, persistent undercurrent in my life. tainting everything with its shadow. The pattern established itself: the gifts, the private time, the subtle manipulation, and then the assault itself. A cycle of coercion, fear, and enforced silence. Yes, Nick, I'm reading the book. I apologize. This is an age-restricted stream. The isolation within the orphanage itself compounded the trauma. I didn't feel safe telling anyone. The other children were mostly preoccupied with their own struggles. And the adults, those tasked with protecting us, seemed oblivious, distant, uncaring. My plea for help, if they were even articulated, and often they weren't, stifled by the shame and fear, were either ignored, dismissed, or interpreted as childish misbehavior. So, let me explain to you the St. Aloysius. So, St. Aloysius was 3 stories with a basement, so 4 technically, but the very first floor was underground. Each story housed a different range of children as far as ages were concerned. The very top floor, from 6 to 10, well, actually 1 to 10, was called the Y unit, or the youth unit. It required an elevator key to get in, to go up to that floor, and it required keys to get out, either through the emergency exits or the elevator itself. Unless you had a key, you could not get onto that unit. So only the workers, the priest, and the priest's son, maintenance, and the cooks had access to that unit. So another thing about the Y unit is, while you were in the Y unit, you did not dine in the dining area, which was in the basement. The food was brought up to you in some sort of a metal trolley of things with trays built into it, and you would get served through there. The shame and confusion were overwhelming. I felt responsible, somehow complicit in their abuse. The abuser skillfully cultivated a sense of guilt and shame, making me believe that I was deserving of this treatment. Let me pause there for a moment, folks. Yes, the priest had an adopted son from the orphanage. His name was Joe, as was Father McIntyre. Let me pause there for a moment. The predator, the pedophile, the vile and disgusting human being, demon spawned, that stole the innocence of myself and hundreds of other kids, made me feel, through their indoctrination, that I somehow deserved the treatment I was getting. Things like, your family didn't even want you. That's why you're here. Your parents gave you up, and now you belong to us. The only way you're going to find a family is if we allow you to find a family. Those are very strong words that live in almost every aspect of my life. Now, imagine years and years of this to myself and hundreds of other kids over the course of, well, they've been open since the 20s, and they didn't get shut down the first time until mid-90s. Hundreds of kids. No, I never got a family. This was a deliberate tactic, and it was a way to ensure my silence and to prevent me from seeking help. The emotional manipulation was as severe as the physical abuse itself, leaving scars that run far deeper. Now, I'm going to tell you what some of those scars are. I first want to caveat with this. I absolutely love my wife, my children, my grandchildren, and some of the people I've met across my life, both online and offline. absolutely love and adore them. Okay. But I don't like being touched. I don't like holding hands. I don't like public affection. I don't, or at the time, up until a few years ago, maybe, I didn't tell my kids, that I love them and give them hugs and kisses. I never did those things because one, A, I didn't learn how to do those things. And two, B, I felt like it would make them susceptible to somebody trying to hurt me by going after them, by targeting them because of the things I say and do online, or the things I say and do when I go to Congress or when I go to the Senate, when I try to fight for laws to give the voiceless victims that have had no justice a chance at justice. I felt as though those feelings that I have for them would deplete the shield that I've tried to build around them by being the staunch, emotionless protector. So I've robbed myself of being emotionally invested, I guess is the term. I use the word emotionally invested because I think that that's the more appropriate way of describing it. So do my children know that I love them? Yes, 100%. I would spend the rest of my life in prison, ending the existence of anyone that would ever harm them. 100%. But the emotional side of that is that I'm emotionally disconnected from allowing people to see that affection publicly, because it would make them vulnerable by making me react in a way, which I've done on numerous occasions online. I hope that makes sense. So, like, even when I met, like, with Shannon, or when I met Kathy, or when I met Pirate and Rainbow, and when I met Steve and Steve-O, like, when I met these people, like, Pirate and Rainbow were huggers. Shannon is a hugger. Kathy is a hugger. Like, I am not emotionally equipped for that. I allowed the hugs because I knew it was something they needed, but at the same time I needed to convey them, and I think they know that I love and care about them very much. Like, they're very important parts of my life. It's just the tangible side of that emotional equation. It's not something that they teach kids in the orphanage. They don't teach you how to be an emotionally collected individual, if that makes sense. The emotional manipulation was as severe as the physical abuse. My memory of that time is not as linear or narrative. So the book, when you guys read this book, I'm going to tell you right now, it jumps around from beginning years to the ending years to the middle years to the back to the beginning years, because as I was remembering things, I was writing them, and I just kept it in that order. So it will read very out of order, but when you finish the book, you will have probably one of the most in-depth understandings of what makes Angelo the fucking manic that he is, I guess. It's a series of fragmented, intensely emotional scenes, punctured by periods of bleak emptiness. The sensory details are vivid, and I did that on purpose. When you read this book, I wanted you to get an image in your mind of what I was describing with written context. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at, Chicky. It's kind of like the similar. The cold hard floor against my skin, the metallic tang of blood, the smell of his cologne, now forever associated with terror, the feeling of utter helplessness, of being trapped in a nightmare from which there is no escape. The experience was so profound that the traumatic events became imprinted in the deepest corners of my memory, shaping my perception of the world. There you guys go. Why does Angelo do what he does? My perception of this world is from the standpoint of a victim who's turned to a survivor, who's turned into a warrior. And when I see dangerous, vile predators preying on weak, voiceless individuals, male, female, child, young, old, I revert back to that abused child, but this time I had a voice. Oh, thanks, Nicole. I appreciate it. The experience was so profound that the traumatic events became imprinted in my life. Yeah, I already read that part. It has cast a long, dark shadow over the early childhood, and it continues to affect me today, even at 51 years old. Now, I have a chance at justice, obviously, and then we have a chance at settlements. And some disgusting people made some disgusting comments about taking settlement offers and selling my soul out for some money. I'm going to tell you something about that. If I can take blood money and use it to help victims and the voiceless find their justice at the same time, then I'm going to take money and help voiceless people get justice 100% of the time. The journey from the darkness to the hope of a life I have built has long been an arduous. This is just the beginning of that story. Oof. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to read a couple more pages and then put some more music on because I'm going to tell you, and my wife will tell you too, she's in the chat. It took me, I think I started this book 10 years ago, wrote 3 or 4 chapters, deleted it, broke the computer. I just got angry. Tried again a few years later, got angry, deleted it. Got contacted by an attorney, went and started testifying, started getting the laws changed over a decade of that. And I started writing the book again, and I finished it last year. This time I published it. I was so scared to let people know that this, 50 at the time, that this 50-year-old man was broken. And it still kind of makes me angry, and it still kind of brings tears to my eyes, but I'm trying to do this as diplomatically as possible. It is very difficult for men to admit that they've been violated. It is very difficult for men to overcome fear when the design and the nature of men, by definition, ingrained into us, is that we are supposed to be these strong, uncrying, unflinching human beings that are protected of the things that they love. So I think my faith was always a struggle. Like, I had huge faith struggles after getting out of that Catholic run orphanage. And I was constantly questioning why God did this. Like, God, why did you, like, I would ask those things, like purposefully, why did you do this to me? And then I met my wife. And people say things about their spouses all the time. And I get that. But I mean what I say. She is the things that I was missing. She filled not just the voids. And she didn't know about the abuse for years. And she would ask, and she'll tell you, she would say things like, "You're not like most men. You're not like most men. You're not like most men." And I never understood what that meant until I met her father-in-law. And then I understood what she meant. And that's when I found a Baptist religion, I guess is the best description of it. And started listening to the word of God again, started listening to faith again, started listening to my soul again. And then I began to understand that God didn't punish me and God didn't put me in those places. God gave free will to the people that did those things. And those people will answer for their things that they've done. But at the same time, I could look at it as a kind of like a stepping stone, uh, preparing me for things that I needed to be prepared for. And God knew long before I did that I would make it out okay. And did all of them make it out? No. And I think God knew that too. But he put somebody in my life that I needed, guided us together. We've been together 30 years now. And she has blessed me with 3 beautiful children who have gone on to create 5 beautiful grandchildren. And they are a testament to the legacy of what surviving and advocating can mean to a human being. Not just men, not just women, but to human beings in general. Everything I am today is because of God and my wife, and the very few people in my life that I've met along the way leading to me meeting my wife. And those small, monumental steps have taken me to the place where I was able to do this book, advocate for people, go to state legislators and lawmakers and get laws changed, not because of just my torment, but because others are being tormented. And if you tune into Dutchie on her channel and see some of the stuff she's covering about this place in South Carolina, this is why we survived. We survived so that we could bring awareness to it in a way that is fundamental, monumental, and substantial. Not just getting out here on panels and be like, boots on the ground here, doing this, doing that. I'm working with this, I'm not working with this. Donate if you want, donate if you don't, blah, blah, blah. Like, this isn't about that. This is about doing real fundamental work that actually changes the direction and the lives of millions of people. That is demonstrable, evidential change. Not just saying something, but doing it. Dutchie, hun, can you put Dutchie's channel in there? I'm going to read like 3 more pages and go back to music because I think we've all stomached about as much of this as we can handle tonight. The initial assaults weren't brutal and they weren't overtly violent. They were insidious, creeping into my life like a persistent cough, initially unnoticed and increasingly debilitating. Brother Thomas, a man whose smiles seemed to hold a hidden darkness, would find ways to isolate me. It started with small gestures, a pat on the head that lingered too long, a hand resting on my shoulder during a prayer. By the way, we were forced to do church, by the way. We were forced to be Catholic. I don't know if that matters, but for me it was irony. A hug that felt wrong or a suffocating closeness that made my skin crawl. The subtle violations eroded my sense of safety and gradually replaced with the comfort of like my mother's embrace, but with a sickening dread. And it's important to understand during this time, I still had sort of like a visitation going on between my biological parents and CPS, or in Rhode Island we call it DCYF, and the workers at the orphanage. So this is prior to their rights being terminated is the term I think they would have used back then too. The isolation was a crucial element. St. Aloysius was a large institution teeming with children, yet I felt utterly alone. The sheer number of kids meant that individual attention was scarce, leaving us vulnerable. So, and I need you guys to understand this too. It was basically 8 kids to 1 staff. And that's assuming the staff showed up. So the Y unit was typically supposed to have 4 staff in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and 2 in the evening. So if 4 staff didn't show up and you only had 2 staff, you had 2 staff to work with 47 kids. That's 20-something kids per staff. So you weren't getting individualized anything. Thank you, Kathy. Did I know them? Like, in what way? I know of them. I mean, I know who they were. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of them passed and one of them still alive. And I had a twin brother that died at 18, and then a younger brother that died at 36, and an older brother that is either in prison or went to prison. And that's about all I know. Oh, and a sister. The sheer number of kids versus staff left us vulnerable to the predatory attention of those in power. The adults ostensibly that were there to care for us were largely absent, or they were present, but their interactions were, bordering on cruel. The lack of meaningful connections fueled the abuser's strategy. My cries for help were met with silence or dismissed as childish imaginations. Brother Thomas would prey on my loneliness, my yearning for affection, and transform those into basic human needs into tools of manipulation. I have no idea what happened to my sibling. So, like, when I see the same principled behaviors online, as many have told me before, and as I've said, I'm trying to do better on, I would immediately get angry, and my attention would be angrily focused on that person, and I would be angrily trying to bring this person down. And it worked against me because they fed off of that. And that's something predators love. They love the hate and anger. It sexually excites them. Again, something else I've observed on this platform. Some of these vile, disgusting human beings are sexually gratified and aroused by the anger and fighting that is projected to them for the behaviors that they're doing. So we're actually working against what we're trying to prevent. We're actively aiding them in becoming, gratified. And that's something that was a hard thing to learn. And it made me physically sick. As Katie likes to remind people, I was physically sick with the results that I was getting with the online predator that we've come to know and love as Cole. Moving on to the next book. The pattern became a chilling, predictable cycle. Oh, chilling, predictable cycle, folks. Again, we can compare this to the very things that we're seeing online, right? Rinse, repeat, different players, same story. I did send my dad a book. I found his address, and I sent him a book. And I haven't heard anything back from him. The predator would single me out, showering me with small, seemingly inconsequential acts of kindness. Maybe an extra biscuit at mealtime, a whispered compliment, seemingly genuine offer of help. These moments were carefully calibrated, and they were to create a fragile bond of trust that he systematically violated. The abuse itself was often interpolated with these. Interpolated. It was a grotesque dance between kindness and cruelty that left me profoundly confused and disoriented. I couldn't really comprehend why someone would be so seemingly kind, but then inflict so much pain. The paradox solidified the cycle of abuse, binding me to him through a twisted sense of loyalty and dependence. Good to see you here, Ryan. Thank you for coming in. I know you don't know me, but I've been in your chats a couple of times. The emotional aftermath of each incident was devastating. It was a wave of shame that would wash over me, feeling, soiled and unworthy. I was consumed by a deep sense of guilt, convinced that I was somehow responsible for what had just happened, because I was happy about the toy or the book or the extra food. I would replay the events in my mind, searching for any action or inaction that might have provoked him, twisting my memories to fit this self-imposed blame. The silence surrounding the abuse amplified this feeling of isolation, deepening my sense of shame and silencing my voice. And I guess that was the intent, right? The intent was to silence my voice, to make me so scared to speak out. Self-blame is a common feature for child sexual abuse. Victims, especially young children, often believe that they caused it or that they could have prevented it in some way. The internalized guilt can have a very devastating long-term consequence, leading to depression, anxiety, and a persistent sense of worthlessness. For me, the self-blame became a dark, heavy cloak weighing me down, and it stifled any attempt for me to share my experiences. The fear of retribution Sorry, I had to tell my son to turn his phone down. The fear of retribution further reinforced my silence. I saw how Brother Thomas wielded power. I saw how Father McIntyre did too. I saw how his son did. Influence within the orphanage. He was a respected member of the clergy, someone whose word carried weight. The other brothers seemed to defer to him, their silence a tacit endorsement of his actions. This instilled in me a great deep-seated fear. The fear that not only would the physical abuse continue, but also the potential consequences of speaking out. I imagined the repercussions of disbelief, dismissal, and further isolation, perhaps even punishment. The weight of the potential ostracism proved to be far more powerful deterrent than the fear of abuse itself. All right, we're going to end it there because I think that's enough pain and torment for myself tonight. So basically, that's just a small part of almost one chapter. And it was there's so too many vivid memories there. But again, like I said, when I started advocating for people online, it became confusing advocacy with battle. Like I was getting stuck in this repetitive battle with disgusting predators that just that's what they lived for. They lived for this battle, and they lived to be secretive. They lived to be unknown. They lived to be anonymous. You know, they lived to be things that they've never earned, things they've never obtained. They repeat themselves insistently to convince people they are these things when they're not. And it infuriated me beyond belief that I felt like I had to toe to toe with these people to prove that they weren't these things. And at the end of the day, none of it really mattered. People didn't really care about that. They cared about the next fire or the next big battle or the next big live stream call out. And I was fighting against drama and popularity versus truth and right. So over the course of the last year, I've had to do different changes. You know, I had to come out of retirement. I had to get with an agency that would allow my voice to have more weight, to start looking at internet crimes the way that they need to be looked at. Because I'm going to be honest with you, many of our police and our state police and our sheriffs, they're not trained and they're not ready for the shit that goes on online. The type of behaviors that when you try to report to police or report to when you file for ROs in court, they look at you like you're insane. They look at you like you're crazy because they're like, why don't you just block them? Why don't you just ignore them? Why don't you do this? Meanwhile, these are the same people that they're calling CPS, they're calling SWATs on people, they're sending sexually explicit materials to minor children in the mail. They're participating in some raunchy sex talk while advocating allegedly for missing and exploited children. They're spreading deadly diseases amongst other people willy-nilly, like no care in the world. They know what states, this is another thing that bonks my mind. They know what states they can go to and spread disease without having to announce that they have the disease. Like if you don't, we're all been taught signs and symbols by the very nature of the signs and symbols man himself. The very signs and symbols that he taught is exhibited 100% of the time by that same person. So, like, you can sit here and say it all day long, but at the end of the day, the people that support him aren't going to care because they know. Like, I've come to terms is they know who and what he is, and they don't care. Who he hates, if it's similar or the same as somebody that they hate, is more important to them than integrity, honesty, and actual protection and advocacy of children. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate it. So I went back to work for the government. I got a job with Department of Homeland Security, investigations. No, not law enforcement. We work with law enforcement by providing them information that we believe needs to be looked at by law enforcement. And we provide them with mountains and mountains and gigabytes, sometimes even terabytes of information that has been accumulated across multiple sources for them as trained, badged professionals to decide whether or not is enough to bring in for questioning or arrest. But what's going on in our everyday systems, our courts and our legal system and our local police, they're not ready for that kind of thing. DHS has had a cyber division for quite some time. And they've taken steps for certain cases when it comes to like exploitation of children or terrorism threats or impersonations of law enforcement or impersonations of military, impersonations of Secret Service, impersonations of secret task forces that didn't exist, things like that. So we're going to go back to our music, and I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do maybe 30 more minutes of music, and we'll call it a night. Thank you very much for listening to some guy, 51 years old, talk about his trauma and abuse. And hopefully, maybe you have a different idea of why I do what I do. Is it right? Is it great? Does it work? I don't know. But it certainly feels good to talk about it. Because every time I talk about it and every book that gets sold, every person that reads it, I have taken power back from the predators. So back to the music. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Chases you cannot swim through. Oh, hey, like Moses standing at the shoreline with the sea before his face. You made a way through what seemed hopeless. You revealed your saving grace. Every chain that tried to bind me, every fear that held me down, lost its power in your presence as your mercy came around. Some are running from their heartbreak, some from sorrow, some from shame. Some are carrying hidden burdens, some can't even speak their pain. But your waters bring redemption, your love washes fear away. And the storms that once defined us cannot steal another day. Lead me through the deep waters, lead me where I need to go. If you're standing there before me, I will follow, I will know. The enemy may chase me, but your promise carries through. You said, my child, keep moving. What chases you cannot swim through. Now I see the deeper purpose. Now I see what you could see. The waters weren't there to break me, they were there to set me free. What was hunting from behind me could not reach where you had led. Every way became protection, every promise daily bread. When the darkness tries to find me, when the night won't let me sleep, I remember what you told me at the edge of waters deep. The trial is not my ending, the storm is not my tomb. The God who walks upon the waters still commands every room. One day I'll stand in glory on that everlasting shore, looking back at every battle, knowing what the waters were for. And I'll praise the one who carried me through every valley I came through, the God who spoke these words forever. What chases you cannot swim through. Lead me through the deep waters, lead me where my faith can grow. If you're walking there beside me, then I know where I must go. The enemy may chase me, but your promise still stands true. You said, my child, keep moving forward. What chases you cannot swim through. Now when the waters rise around me, I no longer fear the tide, because the God who parts the oceans is standing by my side. And I still hear him whisper, my child, what chases you cannot swim. Cannot swim. This is my statement. Not about being right, not about being wrong. It's about learning the difference. I looked in the mirror one day and realized the fight wasn't winning anymore. It was just surviving. I've thrown stones from a glass house, I fed fires I should have let die. So things born from anger, watch bridges burn against the sky. I knew better, still I did it. thinking justice wore my face. But every battle left another scar. Every victory felt misplaced. I became part of the problem in a war I couldn't control, trying to expose the darkness while losing pieces of my soul. And I finally learned, you don't win by standing tallest, you don't win by shouting loud, you don't win by proving someone wrong to a cheering crowd. You win when peace becomes your purpose, when love outweighs the noise, when faith and family lead the way, and wisdom shapes your voice. I believed in people deeply, thought their hearts were true and real, thought we'd build something better, thought we'd help the world to heal. But clicks became more valuable than integrity and grace, and I watched good intentions get traded for another chase. The spotlight became a currency, the outrage fed the machine, and somewhere in the middle we forgot what kindness means. Pain became a weapon, stories became ammunition, empathy got pushed aside for views, reactions, and competition. The vulnerable became content, the broken became a show, and the lies that should have mattered started disappearing slow. The crowd kept asking for more chaos, the algorithm fed the flame, while the people who needed healing became props inside the game. And I finally learned, you don't win by standing tallest, you don't win by shouting loud, you don't win by proving someone wrong to a cheering crowd. You win when peace becomes your purpose, when love outweighs the noise, when faith and family lead the way, and wisdom shapes your voice. I can't rewrite my history, can't erase the things I've done, can't pretend I never stumbled, can't undo the roads I've run. But I can choose tomorrow, I can choose a different way, I can build instead of breaking, I can mean the words I say. Growth isn't found in excuses, it's found in honest reflection, and every step toward better is another small correction. Some people live for conflict, some people need the fight, some people fear the silence, so they run back every night. They chase the noise for comfort, they chase the war for gain, because without the chaos, they're left alone with pain. But I found something greater than another endless feud, a purpose bigger than revenge, a life worth holding on to. Now my focus isn't winning, not the way I thought before. It's the family at my table, it's the God I adore, it's the work I built with purpose, it's the people that I love, it's the peace that came from healing, not the battle spoken of. And maybe that's the lesson after all these wasted years. The strongest thing a person does is rise above their fears. And I finally learned, you don't win by standing tallest, you don't win by shouting loud, you don't win by proving someone wrong to a cheering crowd. You win when peace becomes your purpose, when love Faith and family lead the way, and wisdom shapes your voice. I thought winning was the argument. I thought winning was the last word. I thought winning was watching somebody else fall. I was wrong. Winning is waking up with peace. Winning is building a life worth living.
Winning is family.
Winning is family.
Winning is faith.
Winning is purpose. And the day I realized that was the day I finally won. Across this broken world, too many names fade into air. Too many faces on posters, too many families in despair. This fight is bigger than one story, bigger than one cry. We stand for every missing child until no more tears are left to dry. Social media cuts deep. It can save or it can destroy. A lifeline for the desperate, or a scammer's wicked ploy. For every real protector, searching every night, 100 demons circle, feeding on the fight.
Bring them all home. Bring them all home tonight.
Every missing child,
Every missing child, every name lost from sight.
don't send money, send truth,
Send money, send truth,
send light,
send light, tips that break the darkness.
prayers that ignite.
Bring them all home. Bring them all home tonight.
They feast on pain and heartbreak, the manipulators and thieves, taking hope from grieving parents while the world simply leaves. When the cash stops flowing, they vanish like smoke in air. But the real ones keep on fighting with nothing but a prayer. And every face a story, every child a world entire. Every lost one deserves a rescue, deserves a rising fire. This mission is for all of them, from every land and line. We won't stop searching, we won't stop fighting, until every child is fine. Bring them all home.
Bring them all home tonight.
Every missing child,
Every missing child, every name lost from sight.
don't send money, send truth,
Send money, send truth,
send light,
send light,
tips that
break the darkness.
prayers that ignite. Bring them all
All
home.
home, bring them all home tonight.
The true warriors work quietly, no crowds, no flashing screens, no begging for donations, no exploiting shattered dreams. Their victory is simple. When a child walks back through a door, they don't want fame or fortune, they just want one child more. Let justice be our banner, let compassion be our call. Let truth expose the parasites who profit from the fall. We fight for every child stolen, hidden, lost, or betrayed. And standing side by side, we'll break the games the demons play. So raise your voice for all of them. Let the world hear you declare. Not one more child forgotten, not one more stolen into despair. Together we are powerful. Together we will unite and shine a blazing beacon through the endless night. Bring them truth.
Sin money, sin truth.
Truth, sin light.
Sin light, tips that break the darkness.
Prayers that ignite.
Bring them all home. Bring them all home tonight. Bring them all home. Bring them all home tonight.
We're done with the scammers.
Every missing child, every name lost from sight.
Don't send money. Sin sight.
Sin light.
Stand for the innocent with all of your might. Bring them all home. If this message reaches you, let your heart become a flame. This isn't for one child. This isn't for one name. It's for every missing soul stolen from the light. Stand with us. Bring them all home tonight. For 70 years the silence echoed through church halls, classrooms, and broken homes. Children carried secrets into old age, while predators walked free and unknown. But the tide is turning now. The truth is finally at the door. And the voices buried by fear and shame will be buried no more. They told us to stay quiet. They told us not to speak. They said no one would believe us, that justice was too weak. So generations carried scars hidden underneath their skin, trying to survive the memories of where the nightmare did begin. 70 years too late, but the truth still stands today. You can hide the evidence, but you can't wash the pain away. 70 years too late, but the walls are starting to fall, and every child who suffered deserves justice after all. Some more collars, some more titles, some more masks of trust and grace, while children learn that monsters can wear the kindest face. Files vanished into shadows, warnings buried deep inside, and those who should have protected too often chose to hide. The victim grew up carrying burdens the kind no child should know. Some spent decades fighting darkness, some never got to grow. Yet through every year of silence, through every sleepless night, a spark remained inside them, waiting for this fight. 70 years too late, but the truth still stands today. You can hide the evidence, but you can't wash the pain away. 70 years too late, but the walls are starting to fall, and every child who suffered deserves justice after all. Now the voices get stronger, standing shoulder to shoulder again. Not as victims trapped by yesterday, but survivors refusing to bend. They walked into the State House, carrying stories hard to tell, speaking for the children who lived through a private hell. money heals it. No verdict changes what was done. But accountability matters when the reckoning has begun. Because every hidden predator, every cover-up and lie must answer to the truth eventually, no matter how much time goes by. For every child still suffering, for every voice afraid to speak, for every survivor finding courage, for every heart that's grown weak, this fight was never just for yesterday. It's for tomorrow's child as well. To build a world where predators fear justice and children never fear themselves. 70 years too late, but the truth still stands today. You can hide the evidence, but you can't wash the pain away. 70 years too late, but the walls are starting to fall, and every child who suffered deserves justice after all. Justice after all. Justice after all. Justice after all. The silence is breaking. The truth is rising. The survivors are standing, and history is watching. For those who waited decades to be heard, for those who never stopped believing, for those who carried the weight of childhood into old age. The day is coming, and justice remembers. They say it's just a box made of cardboard and tape, but it holds more love than this heart can take. It's memory sealed with a mother's grace, a whisper from heaven, a smile on her face. She was told at 16 she'd never know the sound of little feet or faces that glow. But God had a dream and placed it inside a blue-eyed boy with her spirit and pride. She filled it with tokens, small and true, each one a moment she saved just for you. A Mickey Mouse watch, a note, a song, proof that a mother's love lives strong. It's not just a box, it's her heartbeat and light, a gift for her sons through the silence of night. It holds every prayer, every tear that she shed. Even now she's near, though she rests with angels instead. So hold it close when the world feels too much. It's more than a box, it's her eternal touch. Zachariah, she saw you before you were born, in a dream where hope and love were sworn. She spoke your name before she ever knew that one day her arms would cradle you. Jeremiah, her joy, her shining flame. You carry her laughter, her strength, her name. She started the box when you came into life. Each item a thread of her love and strife. It's not just a box, it's her heartbeat and life. A gift for her sons through the silence of night. It holds every prayer, every tear that she shed. Even now she's near, though she rests with angels instead. So hold it close when the world feels too much. It's more than a box, it's her eternal touch. 18 years and you still reflect the very soul she did protect. She'd be so proud of the man you became, carrying kindness that still bears her name. To most, these are things with no real weight, but they're pieces of her, of love and faith. Each breath you take, she's walking near, a guardian angel whispering, I'm still here. It's not just a box, it's her heartbeat and life. A gift for her sons through the silence of night. It holds every prayer, every tear that she shed. Even now she's near, though she rests with angels instead. So hold it close when the world feels too much. It's more than a box, it's her eternal touch. She taught you to love, to forgive, to be kind. Even in silence, her lessons unwind. Through caramel cakes and birthdays gone by, her love fills the air like stars in the sky. It's not just a box, it's her heartbeat and life. A gift for her sons through the silence of night. It holds every prayer, every tear that she shed. Even now she's near, though she rests with angels instead. So hold it close when the world feels too much. It's more than a box, it's her eternal touch. So today it's yours, passed down with care. The weight of a love beyond compare. She may be gone, but her soul never stops, living forever and above, in more than a box. Lord, keep your angels near tonight. Wrap this child in your gentle light. Guard his heart his soul, his dreams. Hold him close beneath your wings. He's got bright blue eyes that shine so true, a smile that lights up every room. Such a good boy, humble and kind. He's a treasure heaven designed. So I pray, Lord, please watch over him. Guide his steps when the road grows dim. He's a fighter, strong and brave. Keep him safe, Lord, day by day. He plays the bass on Sunday morn in a church where his faith was born. Loves his mama more than life. They share laughter, love, and light. He saw my son, his heart took flight. Called him dad with eyes so bright. Though time has passed, love remains. We're still one family through joy and pain. So I pray, Lord, please watch over him. Guide his steps when the road grows dim. He's a fighter, strong and brave. Keep him safe, Lord, day by day. Down in Tennessee, where the tall pines grow, he's got a dog named Soapy, old and slow. 7 siblings share a song. One's in heaven where angels belong. He loves his granny, his best friend's Corbin. Through all the trials, they keep on walking. He's got a heart that never bends, faith and love that never ends. So I pray, Lord, please watch over him. Guide his steps when the road grows dim. He's a fighter, strong and brave. Keep him safe, Lord, day by day. He and his mama share that ET sign. 2 fingers touch, their souls align. A bond unbroken, pure and true. Lord, bless them both in all they do. Lord, thank you for this child of grace, for every smile upon his face. Guard his path wherever he roams, and bring his heart safely home. Back in Tennessee, 2017, by an old tin roof and a gravel road. Didn't know then what the Lord had planned, but he already wrote the story in gold. I was just a mom fighting storms alone, praying for a break, praying for love. Didn't know he sent me a blessing so strong. One man, one heart, promise from above. We first met down in Tennessee at my trailer years ago. 2 strangers, 2 roads, but time wasn't right. Love had more miles to go. Then 2023 rolled in like thunder, lightning across the sky. A message, a spark, a laugh in the dark, and suddenly years felt light. 'Cause he loves me all too much, like a baby girl says with her grin. He opened his heart for both of us, let me and my daughter right in. He never left her out, never stood a step ahead or behind. He loved us as one from the very first night, and that kind of love is hard to find. Our first date was Mexican dinner, chips and sauce, so deep in thought. He asked us both to join him. It was never just me he saw. He laughed with our girl, let her shine, let her talk, let her be. Right then I saw the kind of man he was, not just loving me, but loving we. 'Cause he loves me all too much, like our baby girl says with a grin. He opened his heart for both of us, let me and my daughter right in. He never left her out, never stood a step ahead or behind. He loved us as one from the very first night, and that kind of love is hard to find. One day out the blue he knelt down, no warning, no second guess. Before my mind could even catch up, my heart said yes, yes. Tears fell like rain, but warm like spring. I knew right then he was the one. I'd waited years for a love like that, and God whispered, daughter, your future's begun. Before 23 I was drowning quiet, single mom fighting to survive, clocking hours, pushing through pain, doing anything to keep her alive. He came like a lifeline, reaching through waves, pulled me from the undertow, and love became air and there became peace. He saved me more than he'll ever know, 'cause he loves me all too much, like our baby girl says with a grin. He opened his heart for both of us, let me and my daughter right in. He never left her out, never stood a step ahead or behind. He loved us as one from the very first night, and that kind of love is hard to find. Then life hit hard, the seizure shook the ground beneath my feet. I fell into fear, but he pulled me close, said, baby, let me take the lead. He said, I love you, I'll get a better job, stay home, rest, he'll breathe. He put his hands to work and his soul to us, and that day my heart found peace. Now he works like the sunrise, steady and strong, to give us everything we want and more all along. My blessing, my anchor, second only to our girl. He's the reason love feels safe in this world. Yes, he loves me all too much, like our daughter shouts with joy. He's my husband, my heart, my comfort, my choice. He never left her out, never stood a step ahead or behind. He loved us as one from the very first night, and I thank God I get to call him mine. So here's to the man who saved me when life felt heavy and rough, to the father who loves our girl so big, so gentle, so tough. You are my blessing, my forever, my home, and I love you all too much, until the stars burn down and the river stop running on. Heavenly Father, here I stand again, with burdens I cannot carry alone. The hurt is real, the wound's still open, and some scars have become my home. I know your mercy is greater than my anger. Your peace is stronger than my pain. So tonight I bring my broken pieces and whisper your holy name. Every morning I wake remembering the words that cut the trust betrayed, the moments that still haunt my thinking, and all the tears I never gave. I've tried to bury all the memories, I've tried to leave them far behind, but they return like restless shadows, searching through my weary mind. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, when my soul wants to hold on. Give me strength beyond my weakness. Help me right what I can't make wrong. Take this anger from my hands, Lord. Take this burden from my soul. Heal the places still bleeding. Make this broken spirit whole. I wish the hurt would simply vanish. I wish the past could be undone, but I cannot rewrite the story or change the things that someone has done. I am only human, Father. I stumble underneath the weight, yet your grace still calls me forward, even when forgiveness feels too late. There are nights I wrestle with justice, wonder why the wounds remain, why some people never answer for the sorrow and the pain. But vengeance was never my calling, and bitterness was never my crown. So help me lay these stones before you and finally set them down. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, when my soul wants to hold on. Give me strength beyond my weakness. Help me right what I can't make wrong. Take this anger from my hands, Lord. Take this burden from my soul. Heal the places still bleeding and make this broken spirit whole. You've carried me through darker valleys than I ever thought I'd survive. When depression wrapped its chains around me, you were the reason I stayed alive. You've seen every tear I've hidden, every prayer I've prayed alone, and still your love keeps reaching for me, calling this wandering child home. Maybe forgiveness isn't forgetting, maybe it isn't saying it's okay. Maybe it's trusting you with justice and choosing freedom anyway. Maybe healing starts the moment I place this pain within your hands, and trust that what I cannot fix still rests within your perfect plans. So tomorrow when the anger rises and the memories knock again, remind me of the cross at Calvary, where mercy conquered sin. Remind me that I'm not abandoned. Remind me I don't walk alone. For every step toward forgiveness brings me closer to your throne. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, when my soul wants to hold on. Give me strength beyond my weakness. Help me right what I can't make wrong. hands, Lord. Take this burden from my soul. Heal the places still bleeding and make this broken spirit whole. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, and lead me safely home. Heavenly Father, I release what I cannot carry. I surrender what I cannot change. Heal what is broken within me, and help me trust your plan, where my strength ends and your grace begins. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Heavenly Father, here I stand again, with burdens I cannot carry alone. The hurt is real, the wound's still open, and some scars have become my home. I know your mercy is greater than my anger. Your peace is stronger than my pain. So tonight I bring my broken pieces and whisper your holy name. Every morning I wake remembering the words that cut the trust betrayed, the moments that still haunt my thinking, and all the tears I never gave. I've tried to bury all the memories, I've tried to leave them far behind, but they return like restless shadows, searching through my weary mind. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, when my soul wants to hold on. Give me strength beyond my weakness. Help me right what I can't make wrong. Take this anger from my hands, Lord. Take this burden from my soul. Heal the places still bleeding. Make this broken spirit whole. I wish the hurt would simply vanish. I wish the past could be undone, but I cannot rewrite the story or change the things that someone has done. I am only human, Father. I stumble underneath the weight, yet your grace still calls me forward, even when forgiveness feels too late. There are nights I wrestle with justice, wondering why the wounds remain, why some people never answer for the sorrow and the pain. But vengeance was never my calling, and bitterness was never my crown. So help me lay these stones before you and finally set them down. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, when my soul wants to hold on. Give me strength beyond my weakness. Help me right what I can't make wrong. Take this anger from my hands, Lord. Take this burden from my soul. Heal the places still bleeding and make this broken spirit whole. You've carried me through darker valleys than I ever thought I'd survive. When depression wrapped its chains around me, you were the reason I stayed alive. You've seen every tear I've hidden, every prayer I've prayed alone, and still your love keeps reaching for me, calling this wandering child home. Maybe forgiveness isn't forgetting. Maybe it isn't saying it's okay. Maybe it's trusting you with justice and choosing freedom anyway. Maybe healing starts the moment I place this pain within your hands, and trust that what I cannot fix still rests within your perfect plans. So tomorrow when the anger rises and the memories knock again, remind me of the cross at Calvary, where mercy conquered sin. Remind me that I'm not abandoned. Remind me I don't walk alone. For every step toward forgiveness brings me closer to your throne. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, when my soul wants to hold on. Keep me straight beyond my weakness. Help me right what I can't make wrong. Take this anger from my hands, Lord. Take this burden from my soul. Heal the places still bleeding and make this broken spirit whole. Teach my heart to forgive, Lord, and lead me safely home. Heavenly Father, I release what I cannot carry. I surrender what I cannot change. Heal what is broken within me, and help me trust your plan, where my strength ends and your grace begins. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I stand